Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Same, and thank you all, Cimnanya, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. I am saying a very big shout out to everybody that appeared on this video because all of them came out with great points and all that. First of all, let's start by saying that all of a sudden they started using DEI on black people. Not good enough, because they already know that we already know that taxes. All of a sudden, where work is where go work, go broke. Work is where black people goes to, like, it do not break. We are going to trash work and we'll put it in dustbin where it does belong, and the rest of it. There is nothing we've never heard. Affirmative action only benefited black people. It never benefited them. They never earned or received anything out of it. Now they are really very scared of being the minority. And I keep asking myself, why are you all scared? Because they do not believe that there is anything like right to desist, right? They do not believe that, but they are scared of being the minority. If minority have been treated very greatly, why are you all scared that it is going to affect you people, or you guys are eventually going to become the minority? Make this make sense, because I really do not understand. And now we'll talk about some of them coming out to say that black people do not deserve anything good because you all already know that they do not believe that anything good will come out of black community. They believe that we are not intellectually great to do some certain things, that, like, we are good for physical labors and the rest of it. You know what? Let's get into this video.
This video is for educational purposes only. I say it all the time that it is our responsibility to educate our own community. And to a lot of people who look like me, inclusivity begins to feel like discrimination. It's why a lot of people who look like me are getting highly emotional about things like DEI. They're calling initiatives like diversity, equity, and inclusion as didn't earn it. And I've heard a lot of pretty witty, clever replies to that, like didn't earn it, such as taking land that didn't belong to you. Didn't earn it, like legacy students, the children of parents who are either wealthy donors at these secondary institutions such as Yale, Harvard, Princeton, or their parents are alumni of these institutions. And even though the kids don't get the grades or the test scores, they're still being approved to go to these institutions because of their parent status. But you're seeing a lot of billionaires such as Elon Musk that says DEI must die, or Bill Ackman, who went after Claudine Gay, who was the president of Harvard. And the fear for these billionaires and people who are trying to stop DEI is not only that black people will get more opportunity, or marginalized communities will get more opportunity and they'll be included and they'll have safe spaces, but the fear is that their children will become educated. And when these poor white people become educated, rather than being a tool of oppression and attacking marginalized communities, they will learn to use their privilege wisely and stand in solidarity with these communities. And when that happens, these groups will then unite and eat the rich. And that's why these elite billionaires fear DEI initiatives so much. Take, for example, someone like me, the average American, straight, white, conservative. I grew up in poverty. I became a devout Christian. I would be what many people would label a white Christian nationalist today. I was taught the whitewashing of history. I was taught to never question our government. I was taught to pledge allegiance to a flag and to a country and never question it or its military. But because of DEI initiatives, because of social media, because of the wealth of information that is at our fingertips, I began to get new information and change my mind. And as a result of that, I've built a platform in which I began to educate people in my community, people who look like me. I take this information to work. I take this information to my family gatherings and have these tough conversations, and people's minds slowly begin to change. I'm not saying that it's going to happen overnight. I'm not saying that people are all of a sudden going to wake up and say, I'm no longer a Trumper, I'm no longer conservative, or I'm no longer pro-capitalism. But people then begin to question these systems and institutions. They begin to look at it through a different lens. And that's what some of these DEI initiatives do. They not only change the narrative, but they change our approach to the conversation. But not only do they fear black Americans having more opportunity, trans and gay people having safe spaces, disabled people not being discriminated against, but they fear poor white people becoming educated. Because they know that we are all that they have left to protect their power their prestige, and their pockets. And it's sad to see that so many people who look like me have been conditioned into believing the lie. We've been conditioned to become tools of oppression. We've been conditioned to be an extension of the ruling class, whether it's through law enforcement, whether it's through our military. We've been protecting their best interests and not ours. And on this platform, I've received a lot of hate. And it's because I began to speak on issues that's making people question their very existence. It's making people question their identity and their personalities and everything that they've ever been taught. How do I know? Because I went through the same exact experience. When people began to educate me, rather than having an open mind and listening, I dug my heels in and fought back and became super defensive. But in time, my mind began to change, and ultimately that's what my platform is for. That's why I speak on these issues, is to educate people in our community. So again, thank you for the continued love and support. I appreciate you guys being here.
So you know how certain people took the word woke and decided to make it a bad word? Oh, they're too woke. I'm not going to, vote for them because they're the woke candidate. And I think it's so funny because the word woke has a lot of gravity and meaning. But in a nutshell, for the purposes of what we're trying to accomplish today, it means being aware. It means being informed about things going on in the world, the position that people are in. And yes, it's an inclusive view. It's a community view of what's going on as opposed to an individualistic view. But okay, fine. Take the word woke. But now they're using DEI in the same way. Oh, the DEI candidate. And here's the thing. You can't play the same game with DEI because DEI is an acronym. Diversity, equity, inclusion. So you're basically calling yourself out on being anti-diversity, equity, and inclusion, which are terms that apply to everybody. I've said it before, I'll repeat it here. Diversity isn't about we're going to give people who are different than me opportunities just because we want the room to be colorful or to be have different socioeconomic backgrounds or different languages or different ability levels. The point of diversity is not just to do those things and to check a box. The reason that we want diversity, equity, and inclusion is because I benefit, you benefit, everybody benefits from different points of view in the world. You're sitting around a table, you're trying to make decisions, perhaps you're making decisions that impact a large group of people. And the more perspectives you have, the richer the conversation, the more informed I become. So I get to benefit from it. And so does everybody else. It's a win situation every single time. So when people come out and say that they're against diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, they really are just putting a big old banner on their head that says ignorant. Living in ignorance, planning to stay there. And I don't understand. I always try to think of how people with really opposing views to me, like, okay, what is the motivation? And I guess I do get the motivation. I mean, the motivation, like I talk about, is continue the white supremacy culture, continue the power, greed that has put white males primarily in power, and anything to change that is threatening. So I do get it. But it's like they're saying, I don't know if they realize what they're saying out loud. Like, that's supposed to be the part that you somehow are supposed to feel ashamed of. But they're just like, yeah, this is me. Oh, this DEI stuff. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. Help me understand.
As we watch these ridiculous attacks on DEI and CRT and racial justice, I want to play this clip from Pe0ple interviewing Al Campanis nearly 40 years ago. And you're going to see something really interesting. The exact same racist tropes used today to marginalize black and brown people were used then. Check this out.
There are a lot of black players, there are a lot of great black baseball men who would dearly love to be in managerial positions. And I guess what I'm really asking you is to, peel it away a little bit. Just tell me, why do you think it is? Is there still that much prejudice in baseball today?
Now, Pe0ple asks a very simple question. Is that prejudice in sports against black people still there today? Hear this response.
No, I don't believe it's prejudice. I truly believe that they may not have some of the necessities to be, let's say, a field manager or perhaps a general manager.
So not only does he start off by saying, no, it's not prejudice, the very first thing he does is say something racist, that black people don't have the capacity to lead. Now, Pe0ple throws him a lifeline when he says this.
You really believe that?
And what does Al Campanis do? He doubles down with more bigotry. Watch.
Well, I don't say that they're all of them, but they certainly are short. How many quarterbacks do you have? How many pitchers do you have that are black?
Pe0ple comes back and points out again, hey, this is the exact same racist bigotry we saw 40 years ago in Jim Crow America. Are you still pushing that same bigotry?
I got to tell you, that sounds like the same kind of garbage we were hearing 40 years ago about players when they were saying, not really cut out. You remember the days, they hit a black football player in the knees, and no, that really sounds like garbage if you forget to say so.
It's not.
And Al Campanis doubles down yet again with another racist trope. Tell me if you can pick it out.
It's not garbage, Mr. Pe0ple, because I played on a college team, and the center fielder was black, and then the backfield at NYU with the fullback who was black. Never knew the difference of whether he was black or white.
He claims he can't be racist because he has black friends and he doesn't see color. Meanwhile, he spent the entire interview with anti-black racism, questioning their intellectual ability, questioning their ability to lead, and then at the very end, he goes full-blown eugenics when he says this.
Why are black men or black people not good swimmers? Because they don't have the buoyancy.
So I bring this up as a reminder once more that the anti-DEI, anti-CRT bigotry that we're seeing today is not just the bigotry of yesteryear. It is literally the Jim Crow white supremacist bigotry that has plagued this nation for centuries. DEI was never about accepting unqualified black and brown people into the halls of power. It was ensuring that qualified black and brown people also had equal access as white people into the halls of power. And by the way, the vast majority of white people I know get this and have no problem with it. But for those who refuse to understand this basic concept and insist on being offended by equality, I only have this to say to you. Don't blame black and brown people for your own mediocrity. As we watch these ridiculous attacks on DEI and CRT and racial justice, I want to play this clip from Pe0ple interviewing Al Campanis nearly 40 years ago. And you're going to see something really interesting. The exact same racist tropes used today to marginalize black and brown people were used then. Check this out.
There are a lot of black players, there are a lot of great black baseball men who would dearly love to be in managerial positions. And I guess what I'm really asking you is to, peel it away a little bit. Just tell me, why do you think it is? Is there still that much prejudice in baseball today?
Now, Pe0ple asks a very simple question. Is that prejudice in sports against black people still there today? Hear this response.
No, I don't believe it's prejudice. I truly believe that they may not have some of the necessities to be, let's say, a field manager or perhaps a general manager.
So not only does he start off by saying, no, it's not prejudice, the very first thing he does is say something racist, that black people don't have the capacity to lead. Now, Pe0ple throws him a lifeline when he says this.
You really believe that?
And what does Al Campanis do? He doubles down with more bigotry. Watch.
Well, I don't say that they're all of them, but they certainly are short. how many quarterbacks do you have? How many pitchers do you have that are black?
Ted Koppel comes back and points out again, hey, this is the exact same racist bigotry we saw 40 years ago in Jim Crow America. Are you still pushing that same bigotry?
I got to tell you, that sounds like the same kind of garbage we were hearing 40 years ago about players when they were saying, not really cut out. You remember the days, they hit a black football player in the knees, and no, that really sounds like garbage if you forget to say so.
It's not.
And Al Campanis doubles down yet again with another racist trope. Tell me if you can pick it out.
It's not garbage, Mr. Pe0ple, because I played on a college team, and the center fielder was black, and then the backfield at NYU with the fullback who was black. Never knew the difference of whether he was black or white.
He claims he can't be racist because he has black friends and he doesn't see color. Meanwhile, he spent the entire interview with anti-black racism, questioning their intellectual ability, questioning their ability to lead, and then at the very end, he goes full-blown eugenics when he says this.
Why are black men or black people not good swimmers? Because they don't have the buoyancy.
I bring this up as a reminder once more that the anti-DEI, anti-CRT bigotry that we're seeing today is not just the bigotry of yesteryear, it is literally the Jim Crow white supremacist bigotry that has plagued this nation for centuries. DEI was never about accepting unqualified black and brown people into the halls of power. It was ensuring that qualified black and brown people also had equal access as white people into the halls of power. And by the way, the vast majority of white people I know get this and have no problem with it. But for those who refuse to understand this basic concept and insist on being offended by equality, I only have this to say to you. Don't blame black and brown people for your own mediocrity.
So this is all I got from this, and trust me, nothing is ever changing anytime soon. Like he said, the last person said, you all already saw, I think I posted something about what happened in sport. The truth is that they actually do not believe that anything good will ever come up from black community and all that. And that is something that they have been working towards all these years to make sure that nothing good actually, but then God is greater than every other person, I am so happy for how far black people have come with everything, the oppression and all that, systemic racism facing them and all that. They are still able to grow. And they are doing amazingly great in different fields and all that. And it's really something to be very proud of, Looking at how, look at how he said, have you seen black people swimming? They don't have the buoyancy. It's just how he said he is not ready to say it, but you hear him saying nothing different from what I really don't know how they do it, but they are actually very great at gaslighting, and that's why I really do not respect anybody that, especially a pop-colored person, once you ask them question and they come out to tell you that they have black friends or they have black families and all that, just forget about that person. That person is actually a lost soul, and that it's on period. Believe that person at your own risk. And the fact that they are very scared of being minority, you all already know that they have actually told us that there is nothing like racism, especially in America, or there is no racism towards black people and all of that. But why are they why are they scared of being the minority? If being minority is just that beautiful, it's just that great, why are they scared that they do not want to they do not want their race to depreciate. They do not want anything to happen to them. So they are trying so hard as much as they can to preserve their own race, because they do not want to be the minority. They are seeing the rate, or you can see how hard they are working towards this anti-abortion bill and all that. Still, one of the reasons why they are very scared of, of that bill and the rest of it, and that they are working so hard to make sure that a lot of kids are being born, because why not, And let's get into DEI. I mean, it's really amazing how they do not believe that there is something that they are also benefiting from their own, like from their own government, or there is nothing like, nothing to them is free. That's why they are always able, or like, eager to vote against their own interests, because they feel like when they vote against their own interests, it's going to affect Black people and other people of color, or like most especially, not knowing that when they vote against their own interests, they are voting against themselves. And you all can see how it's worrying and suffering them. I remember some of them coming out, palm color people coming out to say that, that Black people and poor palm color people have so many things in common. She came out to say so many things and all that. But one thing I am trying to assure everybody from this year onwards is that there is nothing like saving anybody or saving democracy. Black people are not saving democracy for 2024 till whenever, the tenure expires. There is nothing like saving democracy. And if there is any glitch along the way, we all stay in that glitch to the end of it. So nobody's coming out. Like they said, they are not, but everything is all Black people benefiting from it. Affirmative action, it was Black people. DEI, all of a sudden, when they wake up and they think that, yo, man, we are used to woke. When we say woke, they already know that we're talking to them. So we have to look for something else to say. So they wouldn't know that we're talking to them. So the next thing now is DEI. So how did DEI, how did it now become another bad word to describe Black people? See you all in my next video. Bye for now.